My name is Anna, I'm 22 years old and I'm from Ukraine and I'm Ukrainian actor. I come from Vinnytsia, it is 3 hours from Kiev and it's close to the border to Moldova. It is a small good town, honestly, for me. I like this much, but then before the war I was in Kiev because I got studying there at the National University of Theatre named Karpenko-Kary as an actor. So before the war I was in Kiev and it was really good time before. Because in Kiev nobody will control you. It's beautiful, and you know, when you're always in every capital, you understand it's in this city you can find really unique corner for every freak. I try to explain that. So I mean, I was so freedom, nobody judged you, nobody want to control you. I was studying and it was amazing because acting, you know, you're from 8 a.m. till 12 p.m. you're all till no not 12 10 p.m. you're always at the university, you always do something together, you always do something really crazy stuff, you create it, you're playing, you try to improve yourself, and it was funny, it was good, it was a lot of carelessness, a lot of friends I had there, because still I have in Germany problem to have a really good friendship with German people. I don't know why. So it's still my all close friends to me. It's only in Ukraine, unfortunately. Only Marichka is here. By the way, that's so interesting. Before the war, because I felt that it's gonna happen, and about 1 month we just were preparing for that, honestly. But at the same time, I noticed that people in Kiev start to be really very like, I wanna catch the last moment in my life, you know, like that. And they like do really crazy stuff, dancing, drinking. All bars was really full, restaurants and everybody. And before the war, I really the first time catch this moment of happiness. I felt that I'm really happy. I don't know. So it was the nightlife was good, but I'm so at the same time very homey person. But still, of course, I was 19 and I was like going out, you know, so like that. Yeah, but before the war, it was really even too much. It was, you know, like shock that people have to do it something crazy that they didn't have to do it before. We have to look a little bit for my background. My father is a political person, and he always from my childhood taught me to use to see some news, to watch some, to check some informations, to read this, and he gave me always some resources where I can read something and then make my opinion. So I always used to do something to be really activity in political way, in my opinion. And when the when the war has to start, and when everybody started to speak about that, my father said that the war will start in the spring. He knows about that because he has really good an analytic brain, and he said it's gonna be start because if the Putin start from Donbass and Crimea and Luhansk, so it's gonna continue because we know Putin, he will never stop on this area. It just was a question of time. Then it was for me it really was obvious that the Putin will come and he want to make some really big statement here in our land. So it was obvious. I have to tell you something. I'm from orphanage, and I was adopted when I was 3 years old. And my parents are pretty old. They are now already 75 years old, and mostly sorry, you know. But I mean, still, we have a really big gap of generations, and they mostly spent their life in the Soviet Union. You know, so for them it was a big shock when in one moment the 91 the Soviet Union broke, and my father told me everybody just was lying to me. Everybody just really, he was in shock, and my father too was very in shock. But with that, my father always understand that Russian is not our side. He even when it was Soviet Union, he was working as a policeman in the Soviet Union, and he has always in his room in where he's working the portrait of Taras Shevchenko, of our national writer. He always has that. Everybody else has Stalin or Lenin, and he always have Taras Shevchenko. And I like this statement. And everybody say, "Tukano, who is that?" He's like, "This is Taras Shevchenko." Stop. So Yeah, so and with that I always grew up with that a feeling that my father was not forcing me to make some decision. Even my parents in my family speaks before they were Russian, but I made my decision to speak Ukrainian. It was my decision in my family, and it was always friends came to me and asked me, why your parents speak Russian and you speak Ukrainian. I say it's my, I don't know. But with that, we always, like, when the Maidan revolution starts, my father, I was 14, and my father always, he even, me and with my sister, we went to the Maidan revolution after that, like the day after that its end. And we visit all this, we saw all horrible stuff what's happened there. We didn't see Maidan beautiful. We saw this is how it was just one day later, because for father it was very important, because before he took part of Orange Revolution with my mother, so I could not say that they are patriotic because they just want to be patriotic. They really do a lot for that, because my father was working for government, and he really was pro-Ukrainian person in this way. My mother always tried to communicate and of course to defend Ukrainian side. It was like that. I remember I was so busy after in the university, because we had in a plan to make some performance in the next months when the war would not start it. And I was so busy, and I remember I came, it was Thursday. No, it was Wednesday, and we're waiting for Thursday, yeah. And I remember the Thursday I had day off, and I really thought, now I will sleep, now I will chill, I really can a little bit relax. And so I went to my girlfriend's flat, and we just chill with her family. But the feeling was really strange, because her mother told us that he was in a mall, like some close to Kiev mall, and there were nobody. And she said it's really strange, and there were nobody. She was almost alone. The some food was almost sales, and it was so strange. So it was a feeling something that would happen. But on another hand, we really wanted to make this evening the best. So we ordered some sushi pizza, and I have nails. I have small nails. His name was Brittany, and another nails was Spears, but Spears is died, so only Brittany stays. And I remember Sophia's mother bought for nails big aquarium, because he started to. So I even had a photo that how we're sitting and just looking this big aquarium, how our Brittany started to organize something, and it was really beautiful, because Sophia has sister and brother, and they're smaller than and her mother. She's really chill. She likes me, and it was beautiful. Then we went to bed, and then at 4 a.m. Sophie's mother woke us up and told that the war has started. And it was so interesting, because I'm like, Sophie's mother, she's like a person that she trusts everything that she read on the online. And she say, I read that the war has started in Borispil, bombing. And I'm like, no, her name is Nadia. I just say, no, it is a fake. Let's back to sleep. I was not, and then when I was getting back to into my bed, I really heard my first explosion. It was like in a movie. Then I'm like, no, it's not true. And then, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's true. You will never forget your first explosion, because everything is changed in one moment. It's really difficult to explain, but everything just in one moment changed, and in one moment you just lost everything, your dreams that you had already, that you tried to build, you lost in one moment. But you're still in a shock. You're like, what the hell? What I should to do? But it's good that my father before, because he knew that the war will start, he made for me some instruction what I have to do. So some actions I already knows what I have to do. But with that, I was with Sophia, and I want to protect my girlfriend, her family. But on the other hand, I have to now protect myself. And it was like this. But it was, and then it's very interesting moment. It was first explosion, then second, third, and then it's a game. You start to count the explosions, and then you call your friend and ask, how are you? And then you say, I heard 7 explosions, and your friend said, I heard 10, and we're like, My father before, a week before, he called me and told me, it's gonna be the war, Anna, what do you have to do? You have to pack your things, and I already packed that. I will send to you $100 because everything could happen, and maybe you need the dollars, maybe hryvnia will not be there already. And my parents used to live in Vinica, but in Kiev they have relatives. I have relatives there, so he said, call to Uncle Victor, he will pick you up. So it was a idea. Then the war started. My mother called me, and in Vinica it was not so loud. She didn't understand how that. But I told Mama, there is an explosion. There is fucking crazy, and she's like, in the first time she was really not in it because she's so optimistic. But in the first time she's like, I'm really pity for that. She's like, sorry for that. I don't know. She was really empathic, you know. And she said, Uncle Victor will call you. And he picked me already up, and I didn't even know when I will see Sofia again, because and it was really interesting because we just say goodbye to each other, and we didn't know when we will meet. Because my father say, you're my child, I have to protect you, Sofia will, with her family, do something there stuff. And then I went to my flat because I have to took my bags, and it was so interesting because from Sofia's flat and my flat, it's about 30 minutes in a good time to get in. But during this morning in 22, we got the drive about 1 hour and a half, and we always was just in a line. It was stuck in blah blah blah. So it was so slow, but hopefully in the morning it was not so loud when the bombing was. I got my stuff. And then we went to Victor's house. It was outside of Kiev, and then it was then I tried to land it myself a little bit, and people was people who really defended me. And I remember I never had asked myself why. I've never had the idea to go to shelter. I was like, yeah, it's happened. And I remember that in Victor's house it was second floor. He has 2 floors of building, and it was the second floor. And I was laying on the bed, and it was, very romantic. But it was the window on the ceiling, and I was seeing how the planes flying. And I even did not think that I had to hide myself. And of course, you heard a lot of. Then I heard a lot of bombing. I didn't eat anything. It was shocked. But on the other hand, I'm like, why? I even didn't think that I have to hide myself. I just always checking the news, what's happened. And then at the night it was so interesting. Victor gave me a gun. Because he's a policeman, he has a lot of license for guns, and he gave me a gun and say, it is for your protection, because I was sleeping separately from them, because everything could happen. Maybe somebody get in our house, so just this is for you, a gun. And it was really big gun, not like this small. I know how to use that because my father trained me as I was a child, just for fun. We make it but it was in legal way. We have a big house, and it is in the village, and we always used to do that. I know how to use that, but for me, like, why I need now the gun? I don't want to be a soldier. Blah, blah. But I really was sleeping with the gun close to me. And then in the next morning, somebody woke me up, and some other people took me on the trip to Vinica. And it is so interesting because, I mean, the war was already there, but in the next morning in 25, it was like everything was peaceful. It was the sun. It was not so cold, and everything was peaceful. I don't know why on the trip on the highway there were no cars or something like that. Maybe we just went so earlier. That's why. But everything was peaceful, and people who really picked me up, I didn't know them before, but they were so optimistic. They said everything fine. They will gone in 2 weeks. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, it's so strange. So like that, and then I came to Vinica, and then we immediately start with my parents to make some volunteering working, because we have really big house, and Vinica, it is in the center of Ukraine, so people who are try to fly it from Kharkiv or even from Kiev, they always cross the Vinnytsia, and of course they need some napping and chill, some relax, rest. And we created, because we have a lot of, because my parents had 3 children, and they're building this house for that, but they all unfortunately died. That's why I'm adopted, because they want to somehow recover the pain. So it is just was empty big house, and people start to arrive, and people were with really different stories, with really different trauma inside of them, because it's not was immediately one day. They're driving about 20 days. We always come on, we will, and everything was for free, and people just took a napping about 1-2 days and then go to the west. So it was like that. It was so intensive. During the time when the people were coming to us, it was really hard time. I just can tell one story that I was really in shock. It was 2 car of family, and the parents were really pretty young. They were about 30-25 years, and they had 3 beautiful children, 2 girls and 1 boy. And I came closer to see what's happened. We didn't know each other, and I see the all car is has a hole from bullet holes. Did you understand? Yeah. And I'm like, I asked, everything was, all car was like, you know. And I asked them, what's happened? I mean, how children was very like la la la. They didn't even understand what's happened. Something, you know. And then parents very calm. I think this woman was still in a shock. She's like very calm. Told us the story that they were tried to they were before in Bucha, and it was 7th or 5th days of the war, and they tried to escape from Bucha, and they have a big line of the cars, because they decided that now it's going to be green corridor that people can go out. And in one moment, when they came in this the main highway, were sitting the both sides Russian soldiers on this side and on this side, and this was a big line of the car, and then. In one moment, the first car who was in the line just stopped. The guy came out of the door, and immediately he was shot by Russians. And then they see that, and Russians just to start to shooting. They decided to not going to the highway. They returned to the field, and I asked what was with children at that time, and they told me, we just hide them on the floor to the car. That it's difficult, and they were sleeping. They didn't even know that something happened, and I'm like, what the hell? And people were really in shock, but they say, yeah, but we survived, everything fine. And children was very fun, very cute, because I have a cat, dogs, you know, chicken. Chicken. I have chicken, and they do everything. I try to like that. So, but it was really a lot of stories when the men come to us and really crying, and they couldn't understand what, even men, and like that. And then one moment I understand my mother start to make illusion that there is no war. She has her world how to save your sanity, and I just told to her because it was really dangerous. In one moment I woke up in Vinnytsia, close to Vinnytsia. I woke up and I heard really terrible sounds of plane which really tried to cut the air. It was like these sounds, and this plane, and one moment I wake up and I have in front the window and I see the plane that it's moving to me. It was so low and it's really moving to me, and it's so loud, and I was really ready to die, because in one moment he just bam, and then bam, he make it very, and I was in shock because I even didn't know this is Russian planes or something like that. Now I know that Ukrainian planes always flew it very low, that Russians will not notice. But I don't know why then it happens 3 times, that it's so low, and then only in our area. And I was always to say myself, bye, I'm ready to really die, I won't create it, and this was terrible. And when I always told my mother, did you hear that? My mother say, no, it was nothing. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Or I really had the moment that maybe I create now something. My mother always, oh no, there is the train, there is no heating or bumping, there is the train. Sounds of train. I'm like, are you kidding me? And one moment I understand that my girlfriend, she went to Berlin because she had to save her mother and her siblings, because her father is really arschloch. He knows that the war will start, and he flew it from Ukraine 2 days before, but he didn't do anything with his children. He even didn't help to. Okay, but she was 19, and she really, because her mother was like, what do we have to do? And she was like, yeah, we can do something, let's do that. So my parents helped them to go to Moldova, to the abroad, and then she was in Berlin, and then I was there. And before, when she moved, I thought that to leave my country is like to be betrayed. It's like that I am betrayed her. I mean, I cannot leave my country. My classmates went to the war. I have now 2 classmates who is soldiers already, and I'm like, no, I cannot leave. We have to do something. I was so radical of that, you know. But on the other hand, I had Sophia in Berlin already, and I'm like, I understand that I'm so alone in my fairness, because my mother could not understand me. My father, he's like in shock. He couldn't even talk with me about that. And I'm alone here, and I know that only one person who really could support me, it is Sophia. And on the other hand, I start to think what I can do as an artist now in Ukraine. Honestly, it was the moment that you can do nothing, unfortunately. And then on another hand, I understand I wanna do some art. I need to do some art, but I could not do that because it's so dangerous and there is no resource now. And on another hand, I understand it's going to be really good to go to Berlin. But my mother said, no, I'm afraid of you. Stay with me. You have to be there because before I have been abroad alone, but now she decided that I could not go. And with that, I got a problem with healthy because I have gastritis. And when you start to be very stressed, it start to be. I lost about 5 kilograms of the stress and of the people that I met, blah blah blah. And then one moment I came to my father and told that we have to go because I really felt very bad. I really felt very bad. And one moment he had really big argue with my mom. Before I've never seen that they have like this big argue. And he said, I will oh sorry I will help my daughter and she will go to Ternopil, and then in Ternopil I have my nephew. And my cousin, it was my cousin. And she helped me with her mother went to abroad. So it was like that. But of course, in one moment, in Berlin, I was blaming for a long time myself that I leave my country because I thought that my people, my friends are there and I could not support somehow them and I could not understand because I'm abroad and everything fine and blah, 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 you know. I love my country, but I'm really... can understand what is happening in my country and to understand that it is bad, it is good, and I'm not shy to tell it for German people. If it's no, because it's naive to think that now Ukraine defend themselves, so they're perfect. We have to trust them. No, we still have a problem inside our country that we have to fix that, and like that. So Kharkiv calling, it's not about glory to Ukraine, voted us, help us. We never spelled that on the stage. It's about my story and about story of 4 women who decided to go east to the front line, and I decided to go west for safety. So we just have a big controversials, and we try to find some small chain between us, what is connected. So it's more like that. But I told with Germans, I talk about nationalism. That for us, the nationalism. It is something really important because without nationalism we would not be exist. Because who was on our land? Russian, Germans, Polish, Austro-Hungarian. It was a lot of people there, and if the nationalism will not exist in our country, we will not support that. So it would be no Ukrainian there, And people every time when I spell this monologue, 5 people from stage went out. Go out. And I always thought that it's good because people start to think something irritated them. And I'm even happy that people really start to be angry, like, what are you talking for us? Nationalism, la la la. I tell you, it is beautiful. But then in some articles that we got after Harkikolum, that somebody called me neo-Nazist, somebody called me on some article. It was beautiful. But I don't call myself neo-Nazist, but I'm just really happy that people have different opinions, that I raise something of them, even it's negative or positive. It's just important that people notice something and start to think about something. I was in shock when I asked some friend, German friend, what you would do if, for example, French or Austria decided to invade your country. Everybody told me I will escape from that country, and I was in shock, because for us, because you could not be patriotic if you do nothing for that. We are, as Ukrainians, we every fucking century, sorry for that, we do it really a lot. We just really always defended our country, our language, our traditions, our culture. And that's why we could count ourselves as a patriotic, But on the other hand, what I found, honestly, it's not about country or something like that. We're defending, honestly, only our human rights. And that's a easy answer. But when somebody entered your country and want to kill you, somebody cross your human rights and said, I can do with human rights anything what you want. And you will not say me something. And it's not good, because I have a human right to be not killed when I don't want to that, to be not raped, to be not kidnapping, and blah, 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 And it just, I defend it now for my human rights, my country defending only their human rights. That's all what we do now. And with that, of course, we want to belong to ourselves. And of course, we have to say, if we are ourselves, what kind of behavior we have? So then we understand its mentality of Ukrainian. What kind of language we want to speak? Ukrainian. What kind of background is for us? It's traditional. So we defended just that, because we want to be ourselves, and that's all. And I was in shock. The Germans told me I'm ready to not belong to my country, because he said that, one guy, I didn't do anything for that to be patriotic. And I say, you can do something. He's like, for what? And I'm like, what the hell? Have you watched the Syndrome Hamlet? Half a documentary and biography movie from one Polish-German director who went before the war to Ukraine. And she was working with another director who makes she was theater director, and they made together the Hamlet, but with the actors who were already on the conflict zone, on the Donbass, on Crimea, and blah blah blah, and how they tried to reflect of decision, because Hamlet always has hesitation. What I have to do, to kill, or I want to stay with the good person, and I could not kill, or I have to kill, or I will hate everybody, or it's problem only on me, So it's like that. And of this decision, I found really interesting monologue about one woman. She's a sniper, and I wrote this monologue. I tried to do some for some project. It was in Deutsches Theater, Frau im Krieg it was, and I wrote some monologue about women who are talking with her mother, and she's really apologized in front of her mother that she didn't told her that she went to the war. And it's amazing. I've never heard this monologue that you are like a child. You are parents, for example, and your child went to the war. You're of course afraid of that, but on another hand, you are proud of that. And the child who went to the war couldn't understand that her mother is she's proud of her. She's only afraid that she was lied to her, and she's really said to her sorry for that mother. And then I read this monologue in front of that, and somebody stand up and told me, you don't have to be sorry for that. Your parents have to say sorry that it's happened now with you in your generation. And then it changed me for me a lot. honestly. That's why I now understand why people, like why fathers go to the war, because they are really care about future of their children, of this, that children will live in the country who is not formal independent. They're really independent country with their rules and nobody want to invade it. La la la. So just parents really now, fathers working for that. And for me it was a question, why people fighting for that? Why people ready to be die on this land? Of course it's a lot of another reasons, but it was a big reasons only honestly for me. A lot of here people are pacifist on this way, that for me I could choose to be pacifist, yeah. But on another hand, I could not ignore the evil, and the like. For me it's difficult when people could not realize that this is evil, and we have to fight with that. We cannot do anything as a Jesus. He's like, yeah, you bad for me, you done for me bad, but I will die for that. I will not do something violent. And I'm like, why? You have to defend your land, and if you want to be alive, be active. You don't have to be aggressive or something like that. You don't have to cross the borders in another country and say, I will be here and want to do something. No. It just defend your rights. And for me, it just, I was in shock. How you can be pacifist? This is for me infantile people. This is for me. It's no, come on. You never had relieved the war. Okay, you're lucky of that. Honestly, I would never want to have that. But unfortunately, it's happened. But okay. But still, you have to fight for something. You cannot live without beliefs, and you have to every day, every second fight for these values, because it's so easy to lose that. You cannot just create, or some church told you, this is the values, you have to follow that. You have to really understand what it is important in your life and what you want to support and what kind of sides you want it to be. And then you have to work every day for that, to defending your values, your rights, to be kind person if you choose to be that. It's just a question only of your what you want to be. But if you choose to be like that, you have to fight for that. And you have to fight for people, because if you want, the people will act to you as you want to. So do it the same way. Just act as you want to be. I tried to not. And this generation, we have a really different background, but people are there more infantile, more apolitic, but you could not to be apolitic. In this life, sorry, it could not exist, because if you're in a silence, it means that you choose the evil sides, because you don't want to say that you choose something else. Come on. I mean, it is the same when somebody said the Russians, good Russians exist, and we're like, no, where? It could be good Russians when they are ready to say, I like my country, but I had everything what this country, special government, made for me, people which made for me, and I'm ready to say that, it's like, for me, it's people who are really change their mind vision a lot. And on the other hand, I couldn't understand what Germans thought. Here in Berlin specific, because of GDR, there knows that it was not so good, it was evil. But people who didn't comment, they thought that communism and some this aesthetic of that's interesting, and we want to learn that. And a lot of people on my age here in Germany, they're like, I want to know how is that, how to live in Russia, how communism appears, what it was, and they always look like in a way like something interesting, something exciting. But come on, it was a lot of deaths because of communism, and you are fighting now for communism, but you never tried to do that. And but even in Germany, it was bad. It was bad realization. It's honestly no way to make this good, to make this realization good. I don't say that I like capitalism or something like that, but we have to be realistic. We live now in that way, and somehow we try to fight with that, but somehow it's a plus, honestly. So people, 3 words about that. People are very pacifistic. Another, people are a little bit infantile, because I think German had really good education, better than Ukraine. They're not really a lot. But with that, why you don't want to use your brain if you know this all historical knowledges? Why you just don't want to make analytic brains? And it is infantile when you know everything, but you do anything. What the hell? And the third one, it's of course a little bit fanatism about communism. I mean, it's only that I'm observing, but I didn't say that this generation, like, somehow in my age, because people are very not traumatizing, very chill. People don't have to run and work just for nothing, because you have to do that, as it was in communism. People here are very chill. They could allow to themselves to work, but on another hand could allow to themselves to chill, to relax, to do something funny that I didn't have in Ukraine, because my parents always was for working, hard working for nothing. You know, so here German taught me a lot, honestly, but it's both sides the same as Ukrainian. I'm here now. I had really, could say, good experience in Germany as an actor, because when I went there, I got studying at UDK as an actress, and it was really good, because everything what I know now is about acting is just because of UDK, and because this Erasmus program that really helped us. And then I step by step started to play in some theater. First it was Ogala Kreuzberg from Hotel Continental. We done it with them about 3 different performances, and we played that. Then it was in Deutsches Theater 2 times. It was just reading, but it was beautiful for me. It was beautiful actress surrounded me, professional actress, and then it was some shooting movie. Of course, somehow movies supported Ukrainian, and somehow some movies were like just for example, I play in a Polish movie where I speak Polish language. So it was like that. And then it came for me in 2023. We know Marichka. I know Marichka from Kiev. We know each other. I sent to her some really interesting novel, which calls Novena by Vasil Stefanik. And I always have a dream to be as a director, but I don't have a time now to learn that, like at the university. I would really support this moment to cooperate with somebody who could really learn me. And I told to her, read this, please, this novella, because we could do something together, because Marichka has really specific, interesting taste of movie, and what she made already, it's very pro-Ukrainian, very ethno-searching of how to reflect this maybe trivial story to something symbolism, you know? And I'm a person who is a big fan of realism. So, and step by step we start to write the script. We wrote that about 20 times, we rewrite that. And then it's really good. Because we found a lot, and then it was interesting. We went to Ukraine, we make some trip for location. We met with it was for me very, how to say, important to visit the town where Vasil Stefanik were growing up. And we visit the city, we visit the museum of him, and people are there, they know that it is a small city and town even, and people are there have a lot of visitors and tourists. And unfortunately nobody knows really a lot about Vasil Stefanik, but I think he was really big author, special how he write. It's amazing. He could write 10 sentences on a half of the page and explain the terrified story what's happened during Austro-Hungarian rules. So now we are on what I'm doing now with that. We are on this way how to get money, and then at the same time I have a lot of work. I'm a dance teacher, because in my childhood I have done a lot of hip-hop dancing, and I even became the champion of hip-hop of Ukraine. So now I understand I have to do something with acting. It's not stable at all, so I have to do something that could be stable. So now I work in two schools and two hotels with refugees children. First 6 months it was really helpful. The German government gave to us money, some basic money, but on the other hand I understood that, for example, job center want to control you if they give to you money. And for me, I hate when somebody want to control me. It's going to be dangerous. And on one moment I just told say myself, I'm ready to be a little bit poor, but I don't want to depend on German's government, because I could not understand totally this country mentality. So that's why I decided to be independent. But I still could not understand how people about 3 years that here could not earn money. What the hell? What's wrong with you? You know, already you can, after 3 years you can know language, and you can do everything what you want. Even I didn't know language when I moved, and in 1 month I went to university. They were very polite and they speak with us English, but then we playing only German scenes with Germans. And at the same time I got some work in Julia Stoschek Foundation, just working there, because I know only a little bit English. Now it's better, of course, but not perfect. So you can do, if you want, everything. I had visited Ukraine during the war 10 times, and I would go on the end of the February again. I will say now, the big difference, what has happened 2 years ago and now, people are so tired. Citizens and soldiers are so tired. We have a big gap between soldiers and civilian people. And they even tired to fight each other. They just want to come at home and to be somehow in a peace. So I think maybe it's impossible, but what I can predict, we need now about 1 year of just rest. Honestly, we need rest, because as we see, nobody at all wants to support us physically. But let's do not forget about Budapest Memorandum, when we gave our nuclear. So who made this contract? Russian, America, USA, and UK, and we. It was 4 countries. And as we can see now, USA ready because of Trump to say, I fuck it up, that we have these documents. It doesn't work at all. Russians, of course, it starts to be illegal, and UK somehow tried to do something, but unfortunately, it's slowly, and nobody is defending us at all. And we understand that this realization of that, and we're just really ready to make a rest. To be without shooting, without hitting, without anything, just to live with our lives as it was before. But on the other hand, it's impossible, because on the other hand, people have a big adrenaline and addiction of this adrenaline, because they always live every day on this edge that they will be death in one moment. And it's interesting on the other hand, because when I was in Ukraine, I remember in 2023, I've been in Ukraine about 1 month, and it was some bombing. And then I was angry when air alarm started, and there were no rockets or shaheds or something like that. I was angry. I was waiting to get this adrenaline, and now I didn't get that, and I'm like, what the hell? And I was afraid of that. I'm like, what the hell? Why I'm thinking about that? But on the other hand, I'm like, if there is an air alarm, I want to listen something. I want to make some show, So even if I have addiction, so I don't used to live there, just sometimes. So people there have a big addiction of that. So maybe when the peace treatment will come, it's going to be difficult for first, I think, half a year to be adapted to something else. But we will do that, and then we're going to be happy. About our lands, of course we want to return. Of course we want to return Crimea, but I think there is no there is no now possibilities, and even I will describe you. During the whole history of Crimea, Russians always make a deportation of Crimea Tatars, and always invited Russian people there. So when the Russians came in 2013, there were almost almost not, how to say, no one who is from true Crimea Tatar. There used to live there about 50 or 60 years Russian people there. So if even we want to take this island, have an island, it's going to be very difficult with citizens who are living there, because they have very different opinion. And sorry for that, but when Crimea belonged to Ukraine, we did unfortunately nothing for this island. Russia did something for them. We did nothing. We did not. My father told me, because we were talking about that. He told me when we got from Soviet Union breakness 1991, the Crimea, everybody, even Ukraine, were like, oh, Tatar, Krimsky, I don't know how to spell that. Krimsky Tatari, I will say Ukrainian. Krimsky Tatari, it is something, it's something not good. Ukrainian people told that. But then, when Russians came and say, we can help you, Ukrainian people immediately changed their face and say, no, this is our people. We are ready to support this culture. We want to fight for them. What the hell? You do that only because of Russian do something. Donbas, Donbas is so pro-Ukrainian region, because mostly all writers and the literature that they really like from Ukraine, this is the people from Donbas. They're so interesting and they're so really pro-Ukrainian, and it's really illusion that people in Donbas think that they want to be with Russia. No, that's not true. People from Donbas are very pro-Ukrainian, and it's just question when the surrounding could change for them. About Luhansk, I didn't know anything, unfortunately. But about Donbas, it's a big area of our country, and they always want to be with us, and they always fight,